Good morning, everyone. Well, Wednesday was already a hot one in Nebraska, but today is looking even hotter, and Friday, even hotter still. So let's look at what the damage is going to be, starting with high temperatures today in eastern Nebraska. A little bit hotter than yesterday. Yesterday, largely, we were in the low 90s. Today, highs in the mid 90s. And as you go to the west, transitioning to highs in the upper 90s, and then, yes, a lot of spots in the western part of the state reaching the low 100s today versus largely in the upper 90s yesterday. Winds today, so not much wind in the central or eastern part of the state, but we will call it breezy, particularly in the panhandle, with those gusts getting into that 20-25 mile per hour range. Now we've got to look at tomorrow, and there might be some spots in western Nebraska that'll be the same, but I think in general, everyone going up a little bit. Notice even more triple digits showing up in the western half of the state and transitioning to more upper 90s in the eastern half of the state. Now, the wind's increasing across the entire state for tomorrow. So for the panhandle, western Nebraska, we're going to call it windy. For central and eastern Nebraska, the wind's picking up as well. We'll call it a breezy day again. Those gusts getting back to that 20-25 mile per hour range, which when there's wind around, that does help some. But the problem for tomorrow is for the eastern half of the state, we've got to talk about the humidity really ramping up. So we've got to talk about the feels-like temperatures. Now you'll notice the western half of the state, there's not much of a difference between our actual temperatures and the feels-like temperatures. But in the eastern half of the state, that's where the difference is. So we're largely only going to top out in the mid to upper 90s. Look how the feels-like temperatures will be in the upper 90s to low triple digits, making it look a little more uniform across the state. So despite these hot temperatures, we do have rain chances to talk about as well. 8 a.m. this morning, I can't rule out a stray shower just about anywhere in the state, but it doesn't look like the best chance is going to be around the Lincoln, Omaha area, but not a lot. I still do have to mention the chance of rain for the morning commute, but more likely you're going to be dry than encountering rain. And so a stray shower here or there through the morning hours, but when things will start to ramp up, I think, is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon over in the panhandle. Just starting out as some isolated showers and storms, but as we transition to the late afternoon, this activity is going to be pushing to the east, and I think is going to expand in coverage. So by the time we get to about 5 o'clock, we'll call it scattered showers and storms. The best chance for places like North Platte, Oshkosh, and the same area of rain is going to continue to push to the east. So let's jump ahead now to 8 o'clock. And at this point, we're still talking about scattered showers and storms. Not worried about any severe storms, but heavy rain and lightning spots, yes. Best chance now, Broken Bow, Kearney, starting to push into the Grand Island area. 11 o'clock, this is when I think the rain chance will begin, finally, again, for the Lincoln and Omaha area. But still best chance, 11 o'clock, probably around Columbus, Grand Island. And I noticed that the activity is starting to die back down. So we're probably going to see a peak in the late afternoon, early evening hours. And as we get into the late evening, it's going to be falling apart just as it starts to push into the Lincoln, Omaha area. So really for Lincoln, Omaha, looking isolated showers and storms late tonight. Again, after 11 o'clock to about 2 a.m. But what's interesting is after 2 a.m., we're going to see another area of scattered showers and storms fire up again in the central part of the state. So let's talk about the Friday morning commute, and I actually think this is the better chance of rain around the Lincoln, Omaha area during the morning hours tomorrow than even late tonight. Still some gaps, but I do have to mention a better chance of rain for the morning commute tomorrow than today. Really a chance from central to eastern Nebraska. I think it'll be completely dry over in the western part of the state. So this is going to be a relative peak in the activity early morning tomorrow, and then things are going to get less and less wet and more gaps showing up into the early afternoon where just a few stray showers are going to be around. But in the late afternoon, I think particularly in the central part of the state, we're going to see some new activity fire up. And tomorrow, though not looking like as much as we're going to see during the late afternoon, early evening hours today, I do think we're going to see a peak in the activity during the early evening hours in the central part of the state. And for tomorrow, I do think there is a possibility with this isolated activity that's going to pop up that we could see a couple of severe storms. Now, this is 7 o'clock Friday evening, so right now looking like the rain chance for Friday evening early plans It's going to be limited to the central part of the state. It does look like this isolated activity is going to slide over into eastern Nebraska as we get later into Friday evening. But that also means as we get later into Friday evening, the chance for severe storms will be going down as well. So time for this to change a little bit, so look for an update tomorrow morning.